I want to ask you about exercise because I know that's a big aspect of what you teach about and offer guidance for in your program. So, how important is that? And say someone is a total couch potato and not doing any exercise, where do they start? Because I know that requires a certain level of motivation as well.
Yeah. And I'll say my first workouts after I quit were very light because I was in a bad spot. I was actually still tapering off of benzodiazepines and the detox when I was allowed to go to this gym. It was kind of like a crappy hotel gym.
Oh,
And,
great.
but they had a elliptical and they had a treadmill and they had some machines and maybe some dumbbells that went up to 20 pounds or something. And I literally, my first workout was probably like 4.5 minutes on the elliptical. And then I threw in the towel and I probably went back to lay in my bed. So, and I built it up to a year from that point. I was doing like 10 sets of 10 deadlifts with 405 pounds and maybe a minute or two of rest in between. I was in the best shape of my life. So you can get to a really good spot, but be easy on yourself in the beginning. You're not going to go from alcohol addicted couch potato, which I basically was, even though I did work out. I had pathetic workouts. Even my friends still, at this point, laugh about some of my later drinking career workouts where we would get together, go to the gym, they'd do an hour workout. I was kind of big, so I had like muscle mass. I would do like 1 rep on the bench press and start sweating and then go sit down in the corner while they finished their workout. So I was not in a great spot. I thought like being able to do 1 rep that was more than they could do was, I'd won. But I did not have endurance. Alcohol had just stripped me of my electrolytes chronically. And I was out of breath most of the time. And of course, if it was the morning or by the end, if it was any time and I wasn't drinking, I was having withdrawal. So my hands were shaking and I didn't want to do anything too intense. So you want to get back into things slowly. I have a quick little routine that worked for me in early recovery. That's just a body weight routine. I liked the term from AA or the phrase, "this too shall pass." So I made what I called the pass routine, which for me was push-ups or planks, just until I felt tired, like not trying to kill myself, but push-ups or planks, air squats, some stretching, which was just like for me, down dog and some yoga hip openers, and then serenity, which was deep breaths through my nose. I didn't know why I liked doing deep breaths through my nose. I don't know why I associated that with serenity, but I later read a book on breathing. It turns out it's better to breathe through your nose. So I might have been onto something, but a lot of people, it's the strangest, most surreal thing to me now that probably hundreds or thousands of people have used the pass routine now in early recovery to just get themselves into a different state. The best way, I think Tony Robbins said, to change your state, you need to change your physiology. So a quick little workout can be really synergistic with whatever supplements you're taking. And of course, whatever psychological counseling or program you're working. We all know what it's like in early recovery to feel like you're trapped and you need to get out. And, this isn't acceptable. Usually we go, all right, drink. But what if you could instead hold a plank for a minute and then do a couple air squats and then do some yoga stretches and then breathe through your nose for, take 10 seconds of breath. That workout can last for 4 or 5 minutes, but you can be in a different mental and physiological state when you're done. Yeah. And so over time, I recommend adding intensity gradually and doing what you can do. To this day, I use Google Calendar to plan my workouts and basically my whole life. I don't do what I used to do, which is have a 2,000-word description of the workout I'm going to do inside of that note. Instead, I just write gym. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do once I'm there. Now, that might not work for people who have never been to a gym, and there are people who are very new to fitness. In that case, I say it's best to hire a trainer or work out with a buddy who knows what they're doing, and then they can teach you some things. But you don't need to push yourself to 100%, especially in early recovery. And to this day, I find that if I show up to the gym and my only goal is to just get a sweat, and that's one of my mottos. I say it all the time in my course, a sweat a day. If you can get a sweat a day, it doesn't matter if you go in the sauna or the steam room or you hold a plank or you go for a power walk. Like if you get a sweat a day, you'll be changing your physiology and creating this, positive feedback loop where you feel better when you exercise. So you'll be more likely to exercise later. And then you can kind of intuitively ramp up the intensity with time. So when I go now to just get a sweat, sometimes if I'm really sleep deprived, which doesn't happen often, but sometimes I'll only do 15 minutes on the stair stepper, which is now my favorite workout machine. Or I might get a little endorphin boost and decide to go do some weights or hit the heavy bag. So I like to keep things intuitive. I don't like to put pressure on myself. In some ways I do, but at that point in my life, it would have been a bad idea for me to have a schedule filled with workouts and break down and say, I can't do this, because then I could have been at risk of potential relapse.
Yeah. I think that's such a good point. Like, I know in my own experience, and I see it with others as well, that like they get so psyched about recovery and okay, this is the change I'm going to make. And then you just like create this whole mountain that you have to climb. Whereas like starting small is so much more sustainable and effective, because you reach burnout eventually when you try to do too much change all at once. At least that's what I found.
For sure. Yeah, I found emphasizing discipline with the small basic things is best, because then you don't dilute your discipline. You're not thinking about whether you're going to have the discipline to finish your pyramid set or whatever. You're just thinking about whether you can make it to the gym. And so I think you can restore your trust in your ability to do things and commit to things if you keep it simple and say, I'm going to go to the gym. If you really can't finish a workout once you get there, there could be a physiological reason for it. So yeah, it's best to take it easy, restore your discipline slowly over time, and focus on the things that matter rather than the miscellaneous details of things that you may or may not do.
Yeah.